Hey guys, Gene Lai here, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a quick overview of Bitclub Network and what we do, guys. All right, so first of all, I normally allow someone to watch this video, so if you haven't watched this video,
This video is to help you understand what is Bitcoin.
if you haven't watched this video, go ahead and watch that first. That'll give you, some quick info before I get started. However, if you have, well, let's take it from there. All right, so Bitcoin is digital cash. That's the best way to think about it. Just think how you used to write letters before, and now you send emails. Likewise as well with cash. This is the future. Bitcoin as well is, it's an officially a commodity right now. Just check it out on Bloomberg. Also NASDAQ, how they're talking about it as an investment vehicle. CNBC said Bitcoin is one of 2015's biggest winners. That's a big thing. And of course, Business Insider UK is talking about how it is the best performing currency of 2015, guys. Right. So now that we know about that, who else uses Bitcoin? Well, there's a bunch of people. Dell accepts Bitcoin. Expedia, you can book hotels online. You can buy air tickets for travel. You can do a lot of stuff with Bitcoin. All you have to do is just Google it, okay? Zynga Gaming, because charge-wise, whatever you send Bitcoin, it only costs 4 cents, which is way cheaper. And of course, with Bitcoin, there's no such thing as a fake transaction. Okay, so you don't have to worry about stolen credit cards and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you go on CoinDesk and you look at venture capital, you can see that there's been more than $1 billion invested into Bitcoin investments. And when I talk about $1 billion, it's not just in mining, it's also into other stuff, which is like the whole infrastructure of Bitcoin, stuff like exchanges. Think of that as like your money changers, whereby you change your currency to any currency of your choice. Likewise with Bitcoin exchanges, you change Bitcoin into your local currency or any other currency, depending on which country you go to and which currency you want. Mining, well, that's what Bitclub does, and I'll talk to you guys more about that a little later on. Wallets, okay, wallets is basically where you keep your Bitcoin. Now, mining is where Bitcoin comes from. Think of it like as the central bank for Bitcoin. Wallets is just like your regular banks where you keep your money. However, they are not responsible for the printing or production of your money. Okay, and payment systems, of course, there's heaps of ways for you to accept payment for Bitcoin and also pay for services and products with Bitcoin. Okay, right. So one of the biggest industries that understands the value of Bitcoin is remittance, guys, because everyone knows about how Western Union and PayPal and all these guys they offer their services, and at the same time they make a lot of money. Okay, so if there's anything at all that you take from this presentation, it is the fact that you're going to save money whenever you want to transfer cash anywhere around the world using Bitcoin. And how do you do that? Well, very simple. There's apps like Coins.ph and BitBit in the Philippines, CoinHako in Singapore, CoinPlugs from Korea, and BitX is from Korea as well, but you use that in Malaysia. Okay. Of course, there's others as well all around the world from the US. All you have to do is just Google and find out what's the wallet and exchange that is best for your country. Now, I just want you to understand that every 10 minutes there's new Bitcoins released as a reward. Think about it this way, like how people mine gold, and to get to the gold, sometimes they have to crack big boulders of rocks. All right, well, I want you to think of it this way. Think of it as every boulder of rock in Bitcoin mining, everyone used to have 50 Bitcoin inside. Now, that's really, really good and predictable for miners and all the people who are doing mining, because you see, if you were doing gold mining, you could dynamite a whole mountain and they may not be even a single gram of gold. All right, and so in 2009 when it started, there were 50 Bitcoin per block. And remember, like I said just now, every 10 minutes, roughly about 10 minutes, there's a new block of Bitcoin. And so this happened until the year 2010. And back then there was no value, but the first transaction happened in 2010, and that was 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. Okay, and since then the value of Bitcoin has risen. And after the 4th year, a phenomenon called the halving happened. Now this is a very crucial thing to happen for Bitcoin. It must happen. It is part of the original programming for Bitcoin. It's not something that we can change. It is created so that Bitcoin is kept anti-inflationary, right? So you will always have more demand for it, and the supply will always go down. So what happened was, instead of 50 Bitcoin, you would get 25 Bitcoin. And right now, guys, we're in the era of 25 Bitcoin. And what's going to happen in July this year is going to be the next halving. And I just wanted to highlight something for you guys. Now, remember the wallets I was showing you just now, like CoinHako and BitX and all those guys? During the first halving, they were not around yet. You couldn't do that. A lot of people still kept their Bitcoins in their hard disks in their computer. It was kind of tricky for you to sell it. You'd have to find somewhere to buy it. But even during then, when it was so hard to transact with Bitcoin, during the first halving, the price of Bitcoin went up 8 times, guys. So over here right now, where we are, we're in year 8 right now. We can transfer money straight to your local bank account. You can, transact with people all around the world. You don't need to keep it in your hard disk. You can download a phone app and travel anywhere around the world and withdraw money anywhere easily. And so that's why it's going to be a very big year for Bitcoin mining this year, because when it goes to half this year, it's going to be easier to transact. And with anything that's easier to transact, especially a currency like Bitcoin, the value is going to go up. I'm not a speculator, guys, so I'm not going to say it's going to go up by how much, but I can tell you that it is going to go up. All right, so let's look forward to that happening at the end of this year. Now, I want you to understand another thing about Bitcoin mining, and that is Bitcoin mining will happen into the year 2140. All right, yep, you heard that right, 2140. So we have more than 100 over years left. Also, there will be a total of 21 million Bitcoins mined. That is all. And when that is done, well, that's all the Bitcoin that will be mined. It will just be circulated after that. A very easy way to understand this is, you don't need to have a whole Bitcoin to do a transaction. Right now, as I'm presenting this, the price of one Bitcoin is about 400 US dollars. Okay, so which means 0.5 Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin will be $200. And you see, half a Bitcoin right now is $200 because one Bitcoin is 400. But when Bitcoin becomes $10,000 per Bitcoin, well, half a Bitcoin is going to be 5,000. What about when Bitcoin is $100,000 per Bitcoin? Half of it will be 50,000. So think of it that way. It doesn't matter the amount of Bitcoin, because why? You can break it down even past 10 decimals. All right? Important thing to remember. Okay, so wow, those pizzas right now, they're worth more than $4 million, guys. And think about it. That was just a few years ago. So Bitcoin is really the big thing, and you should really look into it. Now that you understand the value of Bitcoin, a lot of people will say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go out there. I want to buy some Bitcoin and wait for it to go up. And that's not a bad idea, guys. You could do that. And, let's say, for example, you bought 10 Bitcoin back when it was $350 each, which was roughly about November 2015. Okay, so if you did that back then and you kept it for 4 years, and let's say it went up to $1,000 per Bitcoin, your 3,500 is going to be worth 10,000 now. If it went up to 10,000 per Bitcoin, well, wow, that's 100,000. And that's not a bad thing to do. It's kind of like what our parents used to do back in the day. They used to buy gold, and they used to keep it in case of a rainy day, and they could sell it anytime they wanted, right? And I would say it's kind of the same with Bitcoin. However, I've got a better proposition for you guys, and that is mining of Bitcoin. Because let's be honest, if I gave you the option to buy gold, and for the same amount of money, I give you the option to buy into shares for a gold mine, I think a gold mine would be a better deal. Here's why. You see, if you spend that same amount of money, and let's say in the next 4 years, because you're mining, right, you get shares in the mines, and you get 30 Bitcoin in 4 years, and each one's $1,000, that'll be $30,000, guys. If each Bitcoin is worth 10,000, then that'll be $300,000. That's a lot of Bitcoin. And get this, you see, if you had earlier on bought those Bitcoin, after you sell them, you're done. You don't have any more Bitcoin to sell. If you're mining Bitcoin and you sold those 30 Bitcoin, guess what? You're still going to be getting more and more Bitcoin, guys. And that is definitely the way to go. All right? So maybe you're wondering, where did I find that figure for 10,000? Well, very simple. Let me just show you this video real quick.
I am still waiting. Being here. Right off the bat, I lead up to this massive IPO, steal the thunder from Bitcoin, which has been growing pretty exponentially?
Yeah, well, no, I don't think so. Alibaba did sort of take all the air out of the room, but Bitcoin, I'm still predicting Bitcoin $10,000 per Bitcoin in 3 years. It's a hedge against a lot of fiat currencies. It's a new way of transferring cash throughout the world in a much more efficient way. And Bitcoin has created a whole infrastructure of many companies, some of which came out of Boost, the incubator. And those companies are creating this whole new culture, this whole new way of thinking.
Well, can you name some of them?
All right, so that was on Fox Business with Tim Draper. For you guys who don't know Tim Draper, he's the guy who predicted the success of Hotmail, the success of Skype, the success of Tesla, the electric car company, and much more. So he's famous for doing predictions on tech. All right, so that's not my figure, 10,000, that was his. And if you go and look up on it, well, Bitcoin mining is definitely a very feasible and profitable business to get into. Just look at that, January 8, 2016, Bloomberg Business talks about it. And so now, if you're talking about mining of Bitcoin, you want to know who's mining Bitcoin, right? So all you have to do is go to the blockchain.info, go to the Bitcoin mining pools, and it will show you the pie chart that's showing, and this is updated daily, by the way, guys. It will show you who and how much these people are mining. So if you look over there, you can see AMP pool, F2 pool, BTCC pool, Bitfury, and of course, there we are, Bitclub network. 9% of the whole world's mining. We're number 5 in the world. This changes on a daily basis, of course, because everyone's percentages changes daily. But on average, it's very easy to say that we're top 10. And we've been top 10 for a while. Okay, so if you're going to be mining, you want to know who you're mining with, because if you're not on this chart, I'm not saying you're not legit, but I will be honest and say you're slightly less significant, because why you don't do a percentage that is significant for Bitcoin mining. And so for Bitclub network, we're definitely making an impact because we're not owned by a handful of rich people. Bitclub network is basically a crowd-funded mining pool, all right, and that's why it's such an amazing thing, because people like myself and other regular guys who can't pull together like $1 million to get into Bitcoin mining, we can get involved with a few $1,000s, because all of our funds pulled together, that will make a pool that is significant. That will make a pool that is exactly what Bitclub network has done, and we're making a difference all across the world because we're helping regular guys who have no idea how to set up a mining system, and or probably who don't have the resources to do it, get involved in the Bitcoin mining. Okay, now you can watch this video online as well, but basically I'll show it to you really quick. This is one of our mines. This is in Iceland. Okay, so that was one of our mines, and maybe you're asking why Iceland. Well, very simple. If you're familiar with the term geothermal energy, that's the source of power in Iceland. So it's clean, it's green, and of course, the cost is lower. Of course, Iceland is cool as well, so you don't have to expend extra energy, you know, setting up and powering cooling systems like fans and air conditioning and stuff like that. Also, it's on a military base, guys, so it's perfectly safe. So if you look at those machines earlier on, you probably saw Bitmain machines. However, we just signed a huge deal with Bitfury. and we have like, well, I don't know how to say it in a more humble manner, but we just did a deal where we pre-purchased in advance, of course, the fastest miners in the world. So that's going to be huge for us, and that's definitely going to be huge for you as well when you come aboard and you join up with Bitclub Network. Okay, now normal mining contracts sell you an amount of gigahash, and maybe that's a big word for you guys. Just think of it this way: when you're looking to buy a cell phone, you look for memory space, and memory space is normally calculated in gigabyte, right? That's a more familiar term for you. And so over in mining, though, we calculate hash rates. And so when you buy a mining contract regularly from, let's say, a smaller guy who's on the on the pie chart I showed you earlier on, they would sell you a set amount of gigahash. And what happens is, well, exactly like what would happen when you buy a certain amount of gigabyte. It will run out. And so let's say, for example, that symbol stands for 100 days. And let's say you stop mining for about a year. What will happen is you probably have to top up more. You probably have to buy more gigahash. And the reason for it is very simple, because the math and the calculation gets more difficult and the equipment gets old. So, naturally, as your gigahash finishes or runs out, you're going to have to top up more. Okay, that's just how it is. Now, over at Bitclub, though, even though it says over there it's 600 days, what happens is every day as we mine and every time we score Bitcoin on the blockchain, what's going to happen is a certain percentage is going to be put away, and that will go towards a repurchase. Now, this means for you that even though your first contract is going to end in 600 days, before it ends, look, you have a second contract. Why? Because from all those contributions and repurchases made, that will go towards new equipment. So you never have to worry about your equipment going old. Now, what do I mean by that? Very simple. iPhone has a new cell phone every year. Well, over at Bitclub Network, we upgraded our system 5 times in 2015. And the reason why we're ahead of the game and we could do that is simply because of all these contracts, which are, to be honest, are very, very unique. Because everyone else sells a set amount of gigahash, and when you run out, and you got to top up some more. Over here, because it's perpetual like that, you never have to worry about your contract ending. You never have to worry about your equipment getting old. What's going to happen is these contracts are going to keep on running just like that. Okay, so that means profit for you all the time. You don't need to top up any more new money. You just buy your contracts. Okay, and of course, you can buy multiple contracts. Now, when I'm talking about contracts, here are the Bitcoin mining pool contracts. You have the $500 one, you have the 1,000 one, 2,000 one. But what everyone is getting is the founder pool contracts, which are 3,500, and you pay $99 one time for activation. Okay, and so when you get a $3,500 founder pool contract, you are also entitled for other goodies. One of them, of course, is Ethereum mining. I'm not going to go into that too much. You can go and Google about Ethereum and also get back to the person who got you to watch this video to find out more about that. Ethereum mining is going to start from March 2016, guys. And so when that starts, that's going to be another source of income for all the people who have a founder pool contract, okay? So let's just get into comp plan. I wanted to show you guys how you get paid as well. This is a very interesting thing, guys. You see, now, the first 2 contracts that you refer, you're going to get 5% right away on their initial purchase. Now, what does that mean? If a person signs up for $3,599, let's just run that up to $3,600. 5% of that dollar amount is about $175. And so that's what you're going to get the first time when you sign up these first 2 contracts. Okay? Just remember that you get paid in Bitcoin. So that $175 in Bitcoin, as Bitcoin goes up in price, that $175 is going to go up in value as well. Okay, so that's a really, really good thing to remember. Apart from that, from these first 2 contracts that you sign up, you're going to get 10% on all the repurchases done. That's right. Every time they do any repurchases, you're going to get paid another 10%. And this keeps on running for as long as that contract runs. And that's basically a long, 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 long time. Bitcoin mining runs into the year 2140, guys, so that's a long time to go. Okay, so that's your team 1, and that's the first 2 contracts. Now, what happens to the next 3 contracts that you refer? Well, very easy. You're going to get 6% on the initial purchase. Okay, remember I did 5% in an example just now. Now it's 6%, so it's higher. So you get 6%, think of that like fast start, and you get 12% passively whenever these three contracts repurchase. Not only that as well, but on the first two contracts that they refer themselves, you're gonna get 2%. Okay, so as you notice, the percentages are getting higher as you refer more contracts, and so naturally, the next round, the next three contracts that you're going to get, the sixth, seventh, and eighth contract that you refer, you're going to get 7% on the initial purchase and 15% on all other repurchases done by these three contracts. Now, here's an interesting thing to think about. A lot of people calculate this 1 to 8 as 8 people. It doesn't have to be 8 people. It could be you yourself. I have friends of mine who bought their own contracts. They bought their own 8 contracts. So, which means I referred them for the first one, and then after that, the following 8, they referred themselves. So they made all these percentages, the 5, 6, and 7, and that means they also will be making all the repurchase commissions as well every time that their individual contracts makes money. That's huge, guys, because it's passive income without them putting in any more additional money. Okay. Now, if you thought 7%, 15% was great, oh, let me do you one better. All right. So from the 9th contract onwards, which means your 11th, your 21st, your 67th, you're going to get 8% upfront on the initial purchase, and you're going to get 18% on all repurchases done on that contract. Wow, that's amazing. On top of that as well, on all these contracts from the 9th one onwards, whenever they refer their people, from the 1st to the 8th, you're going to make a percentage ranging anywhere from 3, 2, and 1%. And this goes into infinity, guys. Yep, you heard it, infinity. And that's why this is going to be really, 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 really big. And this is awesome for people who, don't like the whole auto ship thing and, don't like to buy a lot of product that they don't need. This is a totally different business model, guys. And so, if people have more of an investment mindset, this is where they would definitely want to put their money. Okay, so that's just one part of the compensation. I want to show you one more part, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Okay, binary team cycle, very simple. You've got people on your left, and you've got people on your right. And so when someone spends $500, that's equivalent to 3 credits. $1,000, that's 6 credits. 2,000, 12 credits. And of course, a founder position is worth 21 credits. Now, why the calculation of credits? Very simple, guys. When you have 15 credits on your left and you have 15 credits on your right, that's going to be equivalent to 1 cycle. And 1 cycle is $200. Okay? So when you have 15 credits on your left, 15 on your right, which is equivalent to $2,500 worth of sales on your left, 2,500 on your right, you're going to make 1 cycle. How many cycles can you do a day? Well, if you have no rank at all and you just started, no problem. You can make 4 cycles a day. That's $800 per day. Okay? As you rise up the ranks and you move up the ranks, you're going to get up to 10 cycles a day, guys. So that is really, really big. Now, just an important note for you to remember is you can recruit even $10 million a day, but you just want to be careful as you're placing them in your binary to make sure that you maximize on your cycles. Okay? So you can recruit as much as you want in a day, but when it comes to placing them in the binary tree, that's where the cycles will count. All right? Okay, guys. So one last one, of course. I know I said I'll do 2, but hey, here's a little extra for you guys. Here's the 3rd one. Binary matching bonus. Okay, so whenever any of your friends make any cycle bonuses, you're going to make $10, guys. Every time someone makes $200, you're going to make $10. If that's percentage, guys, that's basically 5% up to 8 levels with compression as well. So from level 1 to level 8, level 1 and 2, you get that even without a rank. I've never heard of that before. Normally you need to hit a rank before you get this kind of stuff. But you're going to get up to 8 levels as you move up the ranks, guys. So I definitely encourage you guys to hit your ranks. Definitely encourage you guys to get involved with Bitclub for mining. There's going to be a lot of exciting stuff as well. Ask the person who invited you here today to watch this video to tell you more about Ethereum, to tell you more about Clubcoin, to tell you more about our merchant network, because all of that is just going to be additional income sources apart from your Bitcoin mining, guys. It's going to be an exciting time. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I look forward to getting to know you guys in person, and take care and have an awesome week ahead.